Hello and welcome to Module 8 of Real Estate Management. In this module, we shall be discussing property titles, rates, and regulatory compliance. That is, navigating ownership, taxation, and legal compliance in Nigeria. The module contents that we should be looking at here include meaning and types of property titles, certificate of occupancy (CFO) in Nigeria, step-by-step guides to obtain certificate of occupancy, paying property rates and taxes in Nigeria, relevant and roles of government agencies, and consequences of non-compliance. And then we will now draw a conclusion. Let us begin with the introduction. Why property ownership matters in Nigeria. Beyond possession, legal recognition, protection, and compliance are critical. The key focus areas of this module include property titles, that is legal evidence of ownership, certificate of occupancy, which is Nigeria's primary title document, property rates and taxes, which is statutory obligation, government agencies and compliance, that is their roles and consequences. Then the goal is to equip learners to secure ownership, avoid dispute, and comply with laws. Having known that, let us move further. What is property title? Definition. A property title is a legal document proving ownership and right of use, sales, lease, or transfer of property. In other words, it is a document that proves the legitimate ownership of a property, the right to use, sell, lease, or transfer the property from one person to another. Why titles matters? One, legal protection against dispute. So it serves as a protection against unhealthy dispute. It enables transaction, which it facilitates transaction such as sales, mortgage, or lease. It is required for government recognition. So it is in compliance with government recognition. Then the governing law of property title mainly is the Land Use Act, which vests all land use to the state government. Now let us look at types of titles in Nigeria. Number one is certificate of occupancy, CFO, which is mostly recognized and issued by the state governor. Number two is deed of assignment, which is the transfer of ownership between parties. Now we have number three, deed of gift, which is transfer of a property without financial transaction. Then governor's consent, which validates transfer, not a standalone title. We have excision and gazette, which is the release of land from government to government acquisition. So it is a document that shows that the land has been released from government back to host the original owner. Now we have registered survey plan, which shows boundary, support titles, and application. Now we have a deed of lease / sublease, which grant temporary ownership to the occupiers for a specific period of time. So these are some of the property titles we have in Nigeria. Now let us look at certificate of occupancy, CFO. What is it? Certificate of occupancy is an official document granting right of occupancy for land, usually 99 years. So it's a document issued by the state government which grants an individual the right to occupy a particular piece of land for a specific period of time, which is renewable after 99 years. The legal basis is Section 5, Section 9, and Section 10 of Land Use Act of 1978. The land certificate of occupancy is of two types. Now, the first type is statutory CFO, which is issued by the state governor in urban areas. We have customary CFO, which is issued by local government in rural areas. The key content in certificate of occupancy include the holder's name, land description, and survey details. Then another content that may be found there is the duration, the condition, and governor's signatures and seal. So these are some of the the content of certificate of occupancy. Now let us look at the importance and limitation of certificate of occupancy. The importance include it is a legal proof of occupancy rights. So it is a sign that one is a legitimate owner of the property. Number two, it increases property value. So C of O helps to increase the property value. Number three, it enables bank loan and mortgage. So one can use C of O as a collateral when obtaining loan from the bank. Number four, it protects against diverse claims. So it can protect an individual from unhealthy claim by fraudsters. Then number five, it is required for most transactions. So C of O is a prerequisite for most real estate transaction. Limitation to note is that not absolute ownership. That is to say, C of O does not grant one an absolute ownership. It is just a right of occupancy for a specified period of time. Number two limitation is that it can be revoked for public interest. So it can be withdrawn at any time according to the whims and caprices of the state government. Number three, it is subject to fraud challenge. That is to say, one can forge a CFO. Then number four limitation is that it must be renewed after expiration, usually 99 years. So it is not something that if you have gotten it, that you have gotten it for life. So it must be renewed after 99 years. Now let us look at step-by-step guide to obtain a C of O. Number one step is confirm land statute. That is land search at the land registry. You confirm the land statute. Number two, you survey the land using licensed surveyor or surveyor general's approval. Number three, you now get application form from the Ministry of Land. Then number four, you submit your application and as well as the necessary required document. Number five, the government will inspect the land, that is inspections of the site. That is verification by the government official. Then at the number six stage, you pay your statutory fee, such as ground rent, stamp duties, as well as processing fee. Then number seven step is the approval process. The ministry, after governor's endorsement, will approve the C of O. Then number eight step is issuance and registration. At this stage, you now collect and register your land. You now collect your C of O and register your land at the land registry. Then professional tip, always engage a lawyer or a surveyor. So you must engage a lawyer or a surveyor while following these steps. So that is step-by-step approach on how to get a C of O. Now let us look at property rate and tax in Nigeria. Property rate and tax definition. What is a rate and tax? Rate and taxes are compulsory government levy charged on property for revenue and services. Now, the common types include ground rent. Ground rent are annual fees paid to state government under Land Use Act. So once the government have issued you a certificate of occupancy, you are entitled to pay ground rent at the expiration of the year. So that is called ground rent. Then we have land use charge. Land use charge are consolidated tax, especially in Lagos. It is a combination of ground rent, tenement. So the Lagos government combine all these rates together and call it land use charge. So it is most prevalent in Lagos State. Now we have tenement rate, which is a compulsory levy by the local government levied on developed properties. We have capital gain tax, which is tax on profit from the sales of a property. Now we have stamp duties, which is a payment made on property documentation such as C of O, a deed of assignment, and so on and so forth. Then number six, we have consent and registration fee, which is a fee payment for governor's consent. So these are some of the rates and taxes that is prevalent in Nigeria. Now, why do we pay tax and rate? Number one is that it is a legal compliance. One, pay tax in order to avoid penalties and enforcement. Number two, smooth transaction. It is required for sales mortgage, and lease. Number three, access to service. It gives access to fund public infrastructures and as well as public amenities. So payment of a tax facilitates public infrastructures and social amenities. Number four is title validity. So non-payment can hinder a C of O processing. So when you fail to pay your tax, government may not process your certificate of occupancy. Now let us look at the consequences of non-payment. The consequences include it may attract fine, interest, as well as legal action. The property may be sealed or confiscated by the what government. Number three consequence is inability to transfer or use it as a collateral. So when you fail to pay tax, the property may not be used as a collateral or may not be transferred from one person to another. So having known that, let us look at key government agencies and their roles. Number one agency we have is State Ministry of Land. The State Ministry of Land is responsible for the issue of certificate of occupancy, grant governors consent, as well as registered titles. So these are some of the role of State Ministry of Land. Another agency is the Office of Surveyor General, which verifies survey plans, confirms land boundaries. So the Office of the Surveyor General verifies boundaries and confirms survey plans. Then we have number three agency is State Internal Revenue Services that collect property tax such as land use charge, capital gain tax, etc. Then we have local government authorities that collect tenement rate, issue certificate of customary certificate of occupancy. Then we have land registers, land registry that is responsible to keep record of ownership, enables land search. So the land registry is the primary place when you want to buy a land. That is the first place to make your search whether the land is belongs to the sole claim owner. Having known that, let us look at the consequences of non-compliance. So when you fail to comply with the legal requirement, number one is that it will invalidate ownership. Unregistered properties is equals to legal claim. So it results to legal claim when you fail to comply. Number two, revocation of C of O. So breach of non-compliance may result to your C of O may be revoked. That is for breach of condition or public interest. Non-compliance may also attract fines and penalties. For example, for late or unpaid tax, when you fail to pay tax, it may attract fines and penalties. Then another consequence is demolition and stealing. So government may decide to demolish your property or seal the property for for a period of time. Then transaction barrier. So when you fail to comply, the property cannot be sold, leased, or mortgaged. Another consequence is litigation, which is increased risk of dispute or court cases. So people may encroach on the land and there may be high risk of dispute as well as court cases. Now let us look at the key takeaway. Compliance is not optional, but it is essential for secured ownership. In conclusion, valid titles, especially C of O, are the foundation of legal ownership. Property rate and taxes must be paid promptly to maintain rights. Government agencies play crucial roles. Engage them correctly. Non-compliance risk ownership loss, fines, and legal troubles. Final advice: use professionals like lawyers, surveyor, follow due process, and keep all documents updated. Thank you, and God bless you.